months ago, I was laid off. I'm on unemployment at the moment. Fixing up my house. Bought it not too long ago. Looking for jobs also in the meantime. But I have been watching a whole lot of documentaries. I got into this like niche sort of videos, I guess you could say. A lot about like scams and fraud. The one I want to talk about today is the Fyre Festival. I watched actually 2 documentaries on it. A long time ago, I watched on Hulu. They had a documentary, but the one I just watched real recently that was like, something's going on here. Okay. I'll explain to you what I mean. But I really felt like I needed to start talking about some of these documentaries because I think I am associating things that went wrong in those documentaries with those people, inventors, entrepreneurs. I'm associating it with what's going on with our administration today. Never really been into politics. I didn't register to vote until 2024. I did really want us to have a female president. We already had one in administration, 4 years of Donald Trump, and from what I remember, which doesn't seem to be what a lot of people who voted for him remember, but I don't remember it being that great. But that's opinions, right? I guess the less you watch on the news, the less to associate with your problems, right? Okay, so what I want to do is show the trailer for the Netflix movie documentary that came out 2019, I think, and the Fyre Festival happened in 2017. So honestly, I don't know how many people have actually watched or remember this whole fiasco.
Insane festival the world has ever seen.
Island getaway turned disaster.
It became very barbaric.
Right now, we are the fucking laughing stock of everything.
Just wait until you see what you're getting yourselves into.
American rapper Ja Rule is in the Bahamas with his business partner.
Billy McFarland
is an amazing entrepreneur. He can convince anyone of pretty much anything. They just bought an island, Pablo Escobar Island. Oh my god.
We're going to throw a festival here.
Within 48 hours, they sold out. These guys are either completely full of shit or they're the smartest guys in the room. We were working around the clock, no sleep.
Billy's like, bring more workers. We need more workers.
Every single day, guys, more intense.
He just would not take no for an answer. And he just kept pulling money in somehow.
Desperate people do desperate things.
He was lying to investors and making it seem like we were making a ton of money when we weren't.
I mean, that's fraud.
We need to get the messaging out now that this is not a luxury music festival.
Oh my God.
There's mattresses all over the place getting soaked. The save yourself mode kicked in. Right, it's a free-for-all.
It became this looting mentality.
There was an angry mob. They're pissed off and they want their money.
Powerful models built this festival, and then one picture of cheese on toast ripped down the festival.
They just couldn't physically fit that many people on the island.
The event's co-founder is facing up to 20 years in prison.
If you had thousands of dollars to go on a trip to see Blink 182, that's on you. That is Darwinism at its finest.
The biggest event in a decade, I promise you.
I'll be there.
Okay, so that was the trailer. I just want to inform you all that I've never recorded a video, edited a video before in my life. So I apologize how amateur it is, but I am an amateur. So, okay, I'm just going to go down the line and kind of summarize what I watched. So, Coachella was basically the big rival, and they wanted to win over this. They wanted to make like Coachella on crack for luxury vacation, high end, very expensive trip. They marketed this event with influencers like Bella Hadid and Hailey Bieber. It was an expensive campaign. They were paying influencers to play this video once, like promote it, and they were making like $50,000. They were also promised that during the festival, everything would be paid for. Any money that was spent was going to be spent by the people of the event. The main guy in the event, who was the entrepreneur, his name was Billy McFarland. No, I guess one of the big contributors, like at the very beginning, kind of like helping put this together and promote it, was Ja Rule, which I thought that he disappeared from the public for a long time before this. But yeah, it would be interesting to kind of look into what it was that canceled it. Was it 50 Cent? Anyway, Billy McFarland. People described him as brilliant, the world's greatest salesman. He did start a, I don't know what to call it, but he started this thing with cards. They were like stainless steel black cards, trying to get, all the influencers involved. They were all millennials at the time. We're talking back like 2016, 2017. But anyway, he had this like clubhouse with these card holders, and you could go and kind of mingle at this place and bring your friends, and you paid a monthly due, which he used to profit from the clubhouse. So he got this idea to do like a glamorous multi-day festival on like a private island in fantasy vacation dream, right? That was part of it. So Billy and a few of these influencers, and Ja Rule, I think there was maybe like 30 people total, if that. I went to this island for a few days. They came up with this idea, I think. They were all sitting around drinking. Like, wouldn't this be sweet? And didn't really have any background to do the hard work, the marketing. Successful, very successful. Tons of people were in it. Plus, they got the influencers involved, like high profile people, which I feel like that's what Donald Trump did this time. He got a lot of people around him, amping him up, saying he's going to be great. They had slogans, but anyway. So it was this like glamorous luxury event. And they went over the limit. So they started selling add-ons and putting add-ons on this. And besides marketing, everything went downhill. They didn't have enough money. The people that were involved in doing it didn't know what they were doing. They did not budget. They did not get people that understood how to handle this. It was a marketing free-for-all. Influencers. There were no behind-the-scenes people that were actually laid out the hard work and the details for the housing, where to get this, how much it's going to cost. This island didn't have electricity. There was no internet. Mosquitoes were horrible. And the accommodations they sold were, private yachts that you would go and stay at a yacht when you weren't at the festival on the island. They had like bungalows and cabanas and these luxury like tents that you could choose, and everything was a different price. So there were all these add-ons, and then they realized that just from paying these influencers and paying for their own time on the island, that not only did they have to get a different island because they didn't follow the rules there, but they were running out of time. They had no chefs for these VIP meals that they sold. They had no water or waste removal. There was really nobody involved in this whole thing that were actually doing the inside job, the inside behind the scenes things. So they, in order to get more money to try and produce the things that they promised at this, they sold tickets before they had done anything, mind you. They started doing more add-ons, like, so you don't have to worry about your cash and carry around your cash. We're going to put wristbands, but you have to preload them. So these people who had already bought their tickets and chosen what they wanted, now they're like, oh, I have to get a wristband and I have to load money on it because they're offering all of these other things that we can do while we're there, like jet skis, yada, yada, right? And the money that these people loaded onto their wristbands was used immediately to pay off other things, like the shipments of water that they needed to come in. They ended up using for these tents, like these domes, they were like hurricane relief disaster tents that they just repurposed into luxury tents. They put mattresses in there. It was on the beach, and unfortunately, right before people started arriving to this thing, there was some crazy weather. Everything got flooded. Some of the tents got ruined. And instead of saying, hey, we got over our head and this isn't going to happen now and we need to reschedule or we need to refund and rethink what we're doing, they just went along with it. They were like flying by the seat of their pants. What will happen will happen. So these people that were promised private jets, they were all on an airline together and they arrived at the island and they were bused to a restaurant and they didn't know where their bags were. And they had fun at this restaurant before they were taken to the actual site. And when they got to the actual site, they realized that this is all screwed up. Mattresses were wet from the rain. Artists backed out, and there was nothing to feed these people or house these people. Everything was ruined, and nothing that they had on these videos and this great promo video. I mean, I'd want to go if I had the money, but it really it screwed over a lot of people. This guy ended up going to prison for taking money from investors, from taking money from people that were planning to attend the event. It was bad things. So what I feel like the administration has been doing is the same thing. When the election was going on, and everybody was out there promoting themselves. There was a lot of promises, like sell the dream, right? You know, we'll all make money, we'll all have great jobs, everything's gonna be good, medication's gonna be free or very inexpensive, and gas was gonna come down. We would be able to afford to buy more than the necessities every week at the grocery store. We could splurge and get that stuff that we usually don't get, like the organic vegetables, yada yada. I honestly don't see any of that happening, especially someone that's been laid off. It's not good. I mean, what I'm getting a month is less than my house payment each month. So it is a lot. I feel scammed. Like everybody wants to be sold that dream. But you got to ask yourself if the person selling it is really capable of giving it to you. And I don't feel like Donald Trump's administration is giving me what I was promised. I I see people, women, being pulled from their cars and taken, screaming and kicking, and it's the same feeling as rape to me, assault. I mean, mass men coming and pulling me out of a car because they hit me and getting on me and holding me down and tying me up and taking me away. I'm sorry, but there's no way that I wouldn't fight. Like, I've been told since I was a child that you stay away from people that look like that and act like that, and you run and you scream and you fight. You fight for your life. And how do you disassociate those two things? How do you disassociate someone in a mask and a bulletproof vest, like on you, like heavier than you, and there's two of them, and they're men, and they're yelling at you, and they're on top of you, and they're holding you down, and they're tying you up? Like, I'd be ruined. If that happened to me, I would mentally, emotionally be ruined. That is trauma. That's trauma creating. And just watching it is scary. And that's not something that I was promised. I was promised that criminals would be taken off the street, and if they were illegal, they'd be sent home. I was not told that people here with visas and green cards and all of that, I wasn't told that those people were going to disappear. I have worked with Hispanics from Mexico. I see no issues with them. They were nice, and you'd get this homemade food that they would bring in, and it was delicious. So what's happening versus what was promised, I feel like it's very similar to what these kids, young adults, were promised for the Fyre Festival. The only thing that was real was that video and the time that those influencers and Billy and Ja Rule were on that island. That was the only real stuff. And that was the stuff that they experienced. That's not the stuff that everybody else experienced. And I feel like there's a lot of us that are experiencing things that we were never told was part of the deal. So I guess what I'm going to end this video with is, I'm not trying to start anything. I'm not trying to tell anybody that their experience isn't valid. But I am not happy with it. And if you are, that's great. I'm happy that you're experiencing what you were promised. And someone who didn't really pay attention to what was going on. I mean, I am now because things are that crazy and that out of whack. And I just want to see proof. I want to know that things are happening correctly and legally. And I really don't want to be screwed over. Really don't want to be screwed over. And I have that feeling in the back of my head like this is all a scam. I'm being scammed out of my money, out of my taxes. I'm not seeing anything that's benefiting me since January. I really don't. So take it as you will, but I'm not here to judge anybody.